This Week in Connecticut with Dennis House starts now.
Welcome to This Week in Connecticut. Greetings, everyone. I'm Dennis House. The race for governor picking up another name in the mix. We will talk with former state representative Harry Arora, who's exploring a run. The hottest real estate market in the nation is here in Connecticut. Realtor Michael Barbaro joins me to talk about that. Plus, bus cameras coming to town to nab speeders endangering lives. My guest is North Haven First Selectman Michael Frieda. But first up, this week, the lead. The field for governor may grow a little bit bigger. And today, we talk with the newest name in the mix, former state representative Harry Arora, who might enter the race as a Republican. Joining me now is the newest name in the race for governor, Harry Arora, who launched an exploratory campaign for governor earlier this month. And Mr. Arora, good to see you here in the program.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dennis.
So first of all, why an exploratory campaign and not a full campaign at this point?
For me, it is listen, listen, listen. So I want to make sure that I go around, I have a specific vision as to how we're going to grow Connecticut. I want to talk about it to leaders around the state, citizens around the state, working people around the state, and then make a decision within a few weeks, because taking input from everyone is as important as actually jumping into the race.
So there are three candidates for the Republican nomination right now for governor: Aaron Stewart, Ryan Fazio, and we also have Betsy McCoy, who just jumped into the race. What about those three makes you think that there's a lane for you?
So my candidacy, or I'm clearly differentiated between with those three. I have experience both in the private sector, building a business, as well as now in government for the last 5 years. I served as a state rep. I built a business for 25 years, and that's quite different from what we have in the other nominees or in the other candidates. I have also served in the government, as well as I'm 56 years old. So there's a difference there as well. Some things can be done only with experience. I have run a statewide race, and I ran it pretty well last time in 2022. So there are differences between the candidacies, and that's the reason I think I would stand separately or differently if I chose to run.
Let's walk through those three for a second. So what's the biggest difference between you and, let's say, Aaron Stewart?
Years and experience, private sector experience. Listen, I was neither born into money, I was neither born into politics. For me, the whole thing has been working hard and over time, learning the trade, learning the skills of business, of the private sector, of free enterprise, of politics, of public policy. And that's the experience I bring.
Mayor Stewart would argue that she's won elections and she's run a city that you have not.
That's correct. She has run a city. I've run businesses. I have also been at the State House in Hartford, and I know the inner working of how various departments and various agencies in the state work.
And let's talk about State Senator Ryan Fazio. His argument would be that he has served in the Capitol longer than you did.
That's correct, maybe a year longer, and that's correct. But at the same time, I have had 25 more extra years in the private sector. I think the challenges which our state faces are some broken markets and some broken systems we have to fix.
And Betsy McCoy, former lieutenant governor of New York, no legislative experience here in Connecticut. What's your argument that you're more qualified than her?
Listen, all three candidates are strong candidates. They're qualified, but they're different. Our Republicans need to have choices. And the difference between Betsy and myself is, again, very clear, right? It's a different skill set. It's a different persona. It's a different approach to basically leading the state.
So all of you you're fighting for the opportunity to run against Governor Lamont, who is seeking a third term, seeking re-election. In your judgment, what makes you a better candidate for governor than Governor Lamont?
So listen, he has had 8 years. Today, if we look at, or he would have had 8 years, right? And if you look at what's going on today, electricity prices, very high. Healthcare, deductibles, very high. Property taxes, high. Housing costs, high. So we haven't fixed the challenges which we have had. Growth, there's very little. We're stagnant. So we are at a point where we need to focus on opportunity and turn the state to be a growth opportunity.
Why do you think the governor's so popular, according to the polls?
Well, polls are polls, right? You know, that's one of the reasons that in a campaign we need to go to each of the 169 towns and ask these questions and listen and really point out what can be done, lay down a vision. And that's really what's missing right now.
Mark Boughton, who's a Republican, said the other day that Governor Lamont is the best governor this state has ever had. And he's a Democrat.
Well, listen.
What do you think of that statement?
Listen, Mark Boughton works in the administration, so he has to say that, right? You know, if you work for the governor, I guess you got to say that the administration is strong. But if you look at the facts, here, they say a different story. The reason the electricity markets are broken, water prices are going up, the reason healthcare, real incomes are the only thing which have not grown. So we have real issues here. To say that we don't have real issues and everything is hunky-dory is not a correct statement.
President Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. Would you want the president to come here and campaign for you if you are nominated to be the Republican nominee for governor?
Listen, at this point, I want this to be specifically focused on our state issues, right? We have to address the issues which we have created here, and that's going to be the focus. That's going to be the focus in the campaign. That's going to be focused all along as we basically go over the next 4 years and turn the growth engine again.
But most candidates would want the support of the leader of their party. In this case, it's the president. Would you want him here to campaign for you?
Listen, you know, that's a good question. I think it's important really to focus on state issues. To the extent that we can focus on state issues, yes.
So you'd want him here?
I would like to basically focus on state issues.
But you would not want the president to come here to campaign for you?
Listen, you know, we would like to have the president to help us focus and get the resources into the state.
In your judgment, is President Trump, has he been good for Connecticut?
Listen, there are a number of things where, first of all, we have to do the right things for ourselves.
Sure.
Right? The federal policy, we have had a lot of resources come in. Come in. Have we done right by them? That's most important.
So would the state be better served by a Republican governor with a Republican president?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think the whole idea here is to make sure that we take the right resources from the federal government and we make the changes which are necessary to really make this a growth engine of the Northeast.
Which Trump policies have been positive for Connecticut?
Well, listen, you know, even if you think about focus, we need to focus on energy. Right now, the basic idea is to ensure that our state really makes some right decisions. We have really had an idea where we are against American clean energy, i.e. natural gas. I think we're getting a push there to basically embrace natural gas, because if we don't, we're going to see high prices.
So you have to make a decision by May, because that's the convention, as to whether you want to ramp up this to a full campaign. Do you expect to do that sooner?
Yes, within 6 to 8 weeks. So
6 to 8
possibly, you know, before the end of March.
Harry Arora, he's exploring a run for the Republican nomination for governor of Connecticut. We appreciate your time here today, and best of luck.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
And I misspoke when I was talking about Mark Boughton. I identified him as a Democrat mistakenly. I apologize for that. He, of course, is a Republican serving in a Democratic administration. Well, coming up, the hottest real estate market in the nation is right here in our state. That is coming up next.